Hello, this is Brian again. Just left the little viewpoint and starting to make my way back. Keep finding beautiful stuff. Now, I was showing you some beaver tail cactus earlier that just passed its bloom. Well, I got lucky. I found one in full bloom. Now, tell me that is not a strikingly beautiful prickly pear. Opuntia basilaris variety basilaris, the beautiful, beautiful beaver tail cactus in bloom here at about 6,900 feet in elevation above sea level here in the San Bernardino National Forest. And then we got some bigger Joshua trees too. Beautiful Joshua trees here. Look at this. Right in this little pinyon woodland here. Just found this beautiful little spot. Wow. Just found a nice peaceful little spot right here. It smells incredible over here as the pinions give off a really, really nice aroma. Actually, their sap has some of the sweetest smelling pine resin I've ever smelled. Look at this beautiful Joshua tree right here. Yeah, like I said, we're pretty close to their altitudinal limit here. We're probably about 6,900 something feet. We're still above Highway 18 where I park. We're still above that. I haven't come down that far from the tops of those peaks. But you see, they grow a lot more like thickets. The ones that a lot of people are used to in the desert, really, a lot of them are single-trunked, really tall, and with gnarly branches. But here in the higher elevations, they tend to be shrubbier. I'm almost willing to bet that there is a single root system here. There's probably a clonal thicket of them right here. And it's pretty common for high elevation Joshua trees. And I mean, not always, but I've seen some lower elevation ones thicket up like this too. But a lot of the ones higher up, like above 6,000 feet, tend to form multi-trunks, not get quite as tall. But they're sure beautiful though. Sure beautiful Joshua trees. And the Joshua tree, for those who aren't really too hip to botany and everything, Joshua tree is basically a yucca. It's in the genus Yucca, Yucca brevifolia. And brevifolia refers to the short leaf, which is shorter than a lot of other yuccas. Because we have another yucca, a couple yuccas out here. One of them is also in the genus Yucca. That's Yucca scadigera, the Mojave yucca, which is found in this general vicinity, but I haven't seen any this high up. I've seen them up to maybe about 6,500 feet, maybe 6,600 feet. But they have much longer leaves, and they have little leaf threads sticking out. They got these little threads kind of off the side of the leaves, where Joshua trees are just straight up the leaf. And Mojave yucca leaves are much larger, and Mojave yuccas are usually much shorter in stature. I mean, I've seen Mojave yuccas get up to about as tall as this Joshua tree here, but usually they're shorter and they're usually multi-trunked when they're older. But and then there's another type of yucca. It's not a yucca species per se, but it is in the agave family, just like the yuccas. It's Hespero yucca whippley, which is chaparral yucca, Our Lord's candle, you know, different names they have for that one. And it grows as a bushy rosette that sticks out a huge flower stalk in the spring. I haven't seen any around here. They're very common here in the San Bernardino Mountains, usually, but I haven't seen any over here though. So, like I said, Joshua trees are the tallest, shortest leaves. Brevifolia means short leaf. Mojave yuccas have long leaves, longer leaves, with little threads on their leaves, and much shorter stature than the taller Joshua trees. And then chaparral yuccas are those big bushy rosettes, sometimes with very long leaves, sometimes very stiff leaves, and sometimes they're kind of pliant. One thing is, all three of them will jab the heck out of you if you touch the tips of their leaves. All three of them will. Joshua tree, Mojave yucca, and chaparral yucca. I believe, well, the two closest out of the three, Joshua trees and Mojave yuccas are the two most closely related species, as they're in the genus Yucca. Hespero yucca, Whippley, the chaparral yucca, is more closely related, I believe, to Hespero aloe. I think. Hesper aloes. I think. Don't quote me on that. But they have species they're more closely related to than to our actual yucca species. They're all in the agave family, so they do share some kinship. So yeah, if you see yuccas with short leaves, generally upright, you're probably looking at a Joshua tree. A smaller statured, sometimes much branched yucca with little threads on the edges of its leaves, that's a Mojave yucca. A bushy rosette, kind of like this young Joshua tree sapling, kind of like these young Joshua trees, but on a much bigger scale when they get older, you're looking at a chaparral yucca. So sometimes, if you're looking at yucca seedlings, sometimes you have to kind of pay attention, because when they're all young, they start out as rosettes. But hopefully it'll help you be able to tell the difference between our different agavaceae around here. Agavaceae means it's the scientific name for the agave family. So maybe when the weather cools down, I'll do a spotlight on Joshua trees. I haven't done a spotlight on trees on those yet. I was almost going to do one now, but wanted to do it with the quote-unquote typical Joshua tree, which is single trunked, usually lower elevations, and much larger. Sometimes stuff like that, when you have a plant that's variable in growth form or polymorphic, sometimes sometimes I feel like I need to do multiple videos. Well, it's Mojave buckwheat over here, starting to bloom. Eriogonum fasciculata variety polifolium. And then we got Eriodictyon trichocalix. I believe it's subspecies trichocalix up here. That's the yerba santa. And they're in full glory. I've seen people's videos where they come across these plants and say, "Oh my God, poodle dog bush. Watch out." A couple comments about that. Poodle dog bush is a lot more upright, taller. The leaves are kind of similar looking, but they're not as greasy looking. They're sticky, but they're greasy. They're not, not as greasy. Not really greasy like the yerba santa that I just pointed out. And poodle dog bush gets purplish flowers on taller stalks. Yerba santa doesn't. The clusters are smaller. Well, here's Here's another Mojave or brown spine prickly pear. Beautiful, beautiful. Puntia fiacanta. But back to the poodle dog bush and Yerba Santa. Their leaf shapes are kind of similar, but generally poodle dog bush a little narrower and something you don't want to touch. That's why I see when people look at Yerba Santa, they get kind of nervous. They're saying, "Hey, this is poodle dog bush. Watch out." And the interesting thing is, they are closely related. They are both in the genus Erydiction. Poodle dog bush used to be listed in the genus Turricula, Turricula. Now, it's been reassigned to the genus Erydiction, just like the Yerba Santas. So, they do have some kinship, obviously. But poodle dog bush, you don't want to try to make a tea out of that. If you ingest that plant, you're looking for trouble. Yerba Santa people used to make teas and medicines from that to quench thirst and heal. But there's no poodle dog bush around here, at least not that I've seen. I mean, it's usually in fire-scarred areas, which this is not. This area hasn't been disturbed by fire in quite a while, hence these pinyon pines are quite small. Maybe this is definitely not an old growth stand of single leaf pinyon. Definitely not old growth. I've been in old growth pinyon woodlands. Some of the trees actually get quite decent size for what's normally quite a small tree. So poodle dog bush probably won't be found here unless a fire erupts. Fire and other large-scale disturbance is what causes poodle dog bush to germinate. Ooh, we got a big juniper here. I'm actually going to have to take a closer look to see whether this is a Sierra or a Utah juniper. Ah, it looks like a Sierra juniper. Trying to see if I see resin dots. If you see a conspicuous resin dot, you're looking at a Sierra juniper. Well, the bark kind of gives it away. This bark is this is Sierra juniper bark. Yeah, this is a Sierra juniper. Bark's more reddish. But I did see a Utah juniper on the way up here. But yeah, this is an old stunted Sierra juniper. These things take on a life of their own up here in the San Bernardinos. Those Sierra junipers, they can get huge. I've seen them size-wise. I've seen some trees with some gargantuan trunks the size of smaller giant sequoias. And I've seen that before. I've also seen them get tall as well, especially when they're mixing in with Jeffrey pine and white fir in slightly moister canyons. Sometimes they almost match wits with the Jeffrey pines occasionally. Height-wise, they almost match height with the Jeffrey pines, which is quite incredible. So, and I've seen quite a few tall ones. You see quite a few tall ones if you drive along the 38, coming from that direction, coming from Mentone and Yucaipa area, from those areas. You'll see a lot of those. And I mean, obviously you should be paying attention when you're driving, but sometimes you'll catch the sight of a humongous tall one in a canyon right near the road. So sometimes it's hard not to notice. There are some very tall Sierra junipers here in the San Bernardino National Forest. Well, I'm going to be back at the car pretty soon. Guess that'll wrap it up for this video set. I'm not nearly ready to go home yet, so probably going to do some other videos. But I'll see you on the next clip. Thanks for watching.